So on the air tonight, I'm going to tell you, Alex Jones, you are a bold-faced, miserable, stinking little coward liar. Now let me say that again so there's no mistake about it. You can all tell Alex Jones that I said this, and I suspect he's listening because he does. Alex Jones, you are a bold-faced, stinking, rotten little coward liar.
Illuminati is a thing you need to watch out for. They want to depopulate and slave us so much more. World domination, I'll get into that later. I'm hardcore, fierce and sexy. You're just a hater. You deserve the ridicule because you're an absolute zero. I'm the keeper of the chalice, a rock and roll hero. I'm not an idiot nobody listens to, because I'm not a failure in life like you. Let's talk about Bill Gates and the mark of the beast, and the orgies in the streets at the Catholic feasts, and Bill and Hillary's human trafficking ring, and George Soros got the money to pay for everything. Socialism is for losers, working for the devil, chumps that can't fight, they ain't on my level. It takes an evil one to try to debunk and doubt it, so I'd rather die than stop talking about it. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out for the Illuminati. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out for the Illuminati. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out for the Illuminati. Watch out for the Illuminati.
What's good, my people? What's good, my people? What's good, my people? It's the MC Too Tall Show with your hardcore, fierce, and sexy host, MC Too Tall. All right, I had to play what I played at the beginning of this video because you needed to know a little bit of something about Alex Jones. Alex Jones took drips and drabs from William Cooper's talk show, The Hour of the Time. And he applied that into his InfoWars thing. And what he was doing there was just ripping other people off. He says, stay away from David Icke. Broken clock is right twice a day. David Icke is a loon, but so is Alex Jones. And Alex Jones is an opportunity seeker and an infiltrator and a shill. Definitely an infiltrator of the investigative community. And he managed to have guys like Anthony J. Hilder on his show. He happened to have guys like Jordan Maxwell on his show, and guys like William Cooper on his show. All legit guys in the community. And I believe he may have had David Icke on his show as well, which goes to show you where Alex Jones's head is at. Just grab a piece from everywhere and run with it. And he had William Cooper on his show one time, and he stayed throughout the entire show. It was a radio show, a small station in Texas, so it was a phone-in interview, and William Cooper had stayed on the phone with Alex Jones on the air throughout the entire show. And later on, Alex Jones's listeners are saying, well, why don't you have William Cooper back on the show? Or there are people that didn't even know William Cooper was on the show. You should get this guy, William Cooper, on your show. And he turns around and tells these listeners that he had to kick him off the air because of the foul language that he was using. The only foul language William Cooper used was that he said that these people from the Illuminati had stepped on their dicks. And they basically saying that they've awakened the patriots. That was why he said that, more or less, in not so many words. And so he turned around and said, well, he was cursing throughout the show. He was a drunk. I had to kick him off. And William Cooper showed no signs of being an alcoholic. I don't know if he was a heavy drinker. Some say he was, some say he wasn't. But I'll tell you this, the man knew how to articulate himself, and it's not a normal thing for a drunk to be able to articulate themselves if they're under the influence of the booze. So I'm inclined to believe that William Cooper was not even a heavy drinker, much less an alcoholic. And so, more lies spread about a dead man. William Cooper had died on November 5th, 2001. And Clinton wanted to get him. George W. Bush was out to get him. And unfortunately, they did succeed in sending federal agents posing as local law enforcement to shoot him to death. And yeah, that's what happened. He did not shoot and kill any Arizona deputies. His gun did go off. He had a handgun, and it did go off while he was fleeing from the gunfire. And before you say, "Oh, he's a coward, he fled," what the hell would you do if you have a whole bunch of guns aimed at you, firing off rapid fire, and you have nothing but a freaking pistol in your hand? You duck for cover, get yourself in a position to fire back, and apparently they got him before he couldn't get into that position to fire back. And one of the poser deputies even walked up to him and shot the fatal shot point blank in the head. They could have left him alone, but they chose not to because, killing William Cooper was the mission. Not making him not speak anymore. They had to kill him. And this is why I believe a lot of what William Cooper says, because if it is all BS, why was it so important to kill him? Nobody's out to kill Alex Jones. Nobody's after Alex Jones. The only people after Alex Jones are these blue-haired, scrawny punks that could barely pick up their heads from their septum piercings, much less pick up a firearm and go all the way to Texas to look for Alex Jones. Sickos, I tell you. Sickos. And now Alex Jones is saying things that leftists would say. We need a rational mind like William Cooper in our times. We need a rational mind like Jordan Maxwell in our times. Jordan Maxwell hardly goes out anymore. He hardly does any interviews anymore. And Anthony J. Hilda, if he's even still alive, we don't know, because he went into hiding and did such a good job of going into hiding that we don't know the status on him, whether he's even alive or deceased. I actually had the privilege of corresponding with Anthony J. Hilda. And besides him being very good at what he does in the investigative community, although I agree to disagree with him on the Red Ronnie theory, he's also a musical talent. And a lot of his musical work was featured on William Cooper's talk show, The Hour of the Time. And so here we are, folks, having to revisit what Alex Jones is. And he is now what William Cooper had said about Alex Jones then in 2001. He was a bold-faced, miserable stinking little coward liar. This is a person who on New Year's Eve fear-mongered the Midwest because his shows started expanding into Arizona, Oklahoma, New Mexico, and those areas. And he started fear-mongering into that region where his radio show reached, claiming that Vladimir Putin, this is New Year's Eve 1999 going into New Year's Day 2000. He said Vladimir Putin launched multi-warhead missiles toward the United States, toward the region of which William Cooper was broadcasting, and people had gotten into their pickups and their station wagons, grabbed all their essentials and hit the highway, created a freaking traffic jam in off hours. Possibly, I wasn't there, but possibly I'm sure a bunch of fender benders had to have taken place on these highways because of Alex Jones's fear-mongering. And it was a lie. Bold-faced, miserable, stinking little coward liar. Alex Jones may have had some nice guests, like the late great William Cooper, like Jordan Maxwell, like Anthony J. Hilda, and a certain music artist that I happen to like, Al Jorgensen of Ministry, who I can say I am not in agreement with on many of the issues of Al Jorgensen's worldview, but I still like Al Jorgensen and Ministry a hell of a lot more than Skinny Puppy. I believe Skinny Puppy sucks. And you're probably pissed off at me and you're gonna cut this broadcast off right about now because I said that. If you happen to be a fan of that weak-ass band, I make better music than Skinny Puppy. And I'm not even a full-on industrial artist. I am an industrial rap artist, completely different genre, subgenre of both hip-hop and industrial dance music. And I make more listenable music than Skinny Puppy. Skinny Puppy sucks. And while we're on the subject, so does Alex Jones. Alex Jones is a fearmongerer, a sensationalist, and, as William Cooper also called him, a bullshit artist. And yes, we need a rational voice like William Cooper's in these times. Doyle Shamley, where the hell are you? Last I heard, you ran for Congress. You actually won a congressional seat, to my understanding. I could be wrong with my information. I'll have to recheck that. But you are a very big head in local community in Arizona. And it's like you dropped off the face of the earth. It's so hard for anybody to come in contact with you. Your partner up in Ontario there, Robert Houghton, he was supposed to keep the Hour of the Time going. He was supposed to continue to have guests on the show because Robert Houghton's a different personality than William Cooper. It was supposed to be more like a George Norrie kind of setting after that, where he's just going to ask questions and let the guests do the talking, kind of like how George Norrie, Coast to Coast, how George Norrie does his broadcasts with his Coast to Coast show. But that didn't flourish, that didn't rise up and become anything. So, William Cooper Library, dormant. The Hour of the Time website and broadcast, dormant. Robert Houghton and Doyle Shamley, nowhere to be found. And I might not suspect it at this juncture, but there are many of William Cooper's listeners and readers that would suspect that Doyle Shamley may have had a hand in the fate of William Cooper. I'm not saying it. I look at the comments, I read the comments on the far and few between YouTube videos that have the likeness of Doyle Shamley in it. But we could agree on one thing. Alex Jones is not your source for information. And he has never been. Anybody that says, oh, Alex Jones, you gotta, I remember people coming to me back in the early 2000s, 2005 through 9. Yo, you gotta hear about Alex Jones, man. He's on point, yo. He's been to Bohemian Grove, this and that, and blah, blah, blah. Anthony J. Hilda was there before him. And his life was more in danger than Alex Jones's. And Alex Jones is a sham. William Cooper talked about Bohemian Grove. And it's a place where the elites do silly, sinful things. And, he was actually cracking up on air, like laughing on air at the antics, the frat boy type antics these grown men get into at Bohemian Grove. So, it is a meeting place for the elites. So it is acknowledged that that is the case. But Alex Jones, you were not breaking ground even with that. William J. Hilda was there before you were. I'm sorry, not William J. Anthony J. Hilda was there before you were. And so I'm going to close out with the repeat of the words of the late, great William Cooper. Alex Jones, you are a bold-faced, miserable, stinking little coward liar. It is April 16th, 2026, and we're still waiting on those warheads from Putin. Respect God, watch out for the Illuminati. Like, follow, share, comment, subscribe, stay strong, keep kicking that slang. It's your boy in the building, hip-hop legend, recording engineer, underground rock and roll hero, founding father figure of industrial rap, MC Too Tall. You be good.